So Sadia kind of has finally spoken on the scandal, but you're not going to like it. Even though Abba from Abba and Preach did interview her on their YouTube channel, it was more so like an undercover type interview. Like I don't really think she was going to be exposed as a result of it. And you could tell she was pretty much evading as much responsibility and even lying at some points. But at no point has she directly addressed all of these scandalous rumors, according to her anyway, till now. Not on her pages anyway. Up until now, she was not saying anything on any of her social media platforms, and she had even turned off comments on Instagram to not have to address or be confronted by this influx of hate online. But she has finally spoken. And we're going to be taking a look not only at what she said, but also what it means for her career, for everybody that bought her services, pretty much her audience, her followers, because she's actually on tour right now. I don't even know how it's happening. But before we get there, welcome back. I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also give me your likes and your comments as we see this. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so this is Sadia's Instagram. As I was saying, she had not said anything on any of her platforms up until now. She had only popped up on Abba and Preach's interview thing that I don't think she knew that their intent was to expose her. I think in her head she's like unexposable. I mean, maybe not at this point. Maybe she's realizing what's up. But I think she was so much in her ego that she was like, anything I tell them they'll buy and people will understand. No one will question my credentials or my cheating scandal, my Mistress scandal rather. So if you go on her Instagram, as I was saying, she had her comments turned off. You can really see it here on the bottom. I know it's in Spanish, but it says the comments in this post have been limited. And that's pretty much the same for all the other posts. She had completely limited the messages, I guess, in order to try and save face as much as possible. And we're gonna see in brief what she has recently posted about this whole controversy, but it kind of struck me as odd that she wasn't saying anything about it, because whenever there are scandalous claims or influencers are getting any hate online, usually the first thing they do is address these claims. First, because they see it as a potential risk to their brand, which makes a lot of sense evidently, and they want to address these rumors in the case that they're rumors, because I don't know that these are rumors, the one we're going to be talking about today. But in the case that they're rumors, they want to address them as soon as possible so that they can clear up any misconceptions and their brand can stay on track. And if it is true, they usually try and avoid as much responsibility as possible. It's kind of human nature, to be honest. They'll be like, yeah, you know, I could have done this and that, but it's really not that big of a deal. It was a long time ago. And the also common phrase that I'm human. But the point being is that they typically always respond. So it is strange that she wasn't saying anything, but I guess it does say a lot about her own brand and her own personality. She did say on the Abba and Preach interview that if this stuff went really viral, her parents, like her dad and her brother, were going to, I don't know exactly why, but it almost sounded like they were gonna like kick her ass or something.
Because of my father, if it wasn't for my father and he was Pakistani, strict, all of his, if anything gets back to him or my brothers, it's
it's a big problem.
There's nowhere I can't live.
So she's definitely been trying to save face. And I guess she thought to herself that if she ignored this for a long enough time, the controversy would go down and probably wouldn't escalate anymore, and people would forget about it soon enough. I don't think she had realized how much this was actually making people angry, and to the extent that it was going to affect her career. Which again says a lot about her, because to me that means that she really thinks she's above it all. You know what I mean? Like she really thinks she's above any sort of hatred or any sort of potential career destruction. And it does actually add up with the way she's been this whole time. I mean, she didn't even think that she was going to be found out about faking her credentials regarding her career, and that only happens with someone that once again just thinks they're above it all, something that she herself has recognized. Let's take a look.
I wasn't doing psychology 100%. I would be a drug dealer. There is no other job role on this planet that suits my personality more, because I am so fearless. I have a very poor work ethic. I am unprofessional, and I don't respect the law.
So evidently Sadia is the kind of person who thinks herself to be a bit above the law or above the consequences that us mere mortals tend to have. And I don't want to diagnose anyone here, because I'm actually not a specialist. I'm not a psychologist, but I don't know about y'all, but that really reminds me of a very specific kind of person. And it's that end term that is thrown around nowadays so much to describe certain people that are selfish or just think that they're above everyone. Okay, so she says the following. I would like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to my followers, friends, and family for your love, kindness, and support during this challenging time. I have a feeling I know where this is gonna go. It is for you, and for you alone, that I feel it is important to address some of the false narratives. This was either written by someone else or ChatGPT, because let's remember the kind of text that she would send people. It's too much for you because you are a cheap and entitled Trump. She does not know how to write this way. She does not know how to use punctuation in this way. First and foremost, I want to reassure assure you that I am fully trained to practice the work I do. Okay, where are your credentials though? Where are your credentials? And I mean, if what you do is coaching, if we just call it coaching, if you stop calling it therapy, I am more than convinced that you can do that. You can do a good job with doing that. You have enough diplomas from the Center of Excellence to do that. So maybe she just quietly changes her brand. She thinks that she can continue claiming that she has always been fully trained to do what she does. My purpose has always been to help people gain clarity and strength in their relationships, and it's a privilege to have supported millions of people over the years with the free content I share. For full transparency, my consultation fee is $500 per hour. Yeah, if you go on her website now, you do see that her consultations are about £500 an hour or something, which is still pretty crazy. But there are these screenshots that I'm pretty sure are real from back in the day when she was having these one-on-one high-value men program that were $8,000. Claims that I charge $8,000 have no truth to them and were created to discredit my intentions. The links to my one-to-ones have always been publicly available and remain unchanged in my bio. There has also been a particularly harmful rumor suggesting that I was involved with a married, engaged man. Okay, so she calls this a rumor. Here's the thing though, we have an audio that she admitted that was real, because lots of people have been saying that like, oh, you don't know if it's AI. No, when she was confronted about it in the Abba and Preach video, she talked about it like she knew it was real. At no point was she like, oh, this is AI. And she even addressed what was going on in the call. But the point being here is that even though we don't know the full story, what we can hear from that audio is that she is talking to another woman, and she's saying to that other woman that she doesn't care, she will suck whether it's on her wedding or on her birthday, implying that they're sharing that man, because why else would she be telling her that?
I've been in situations where he's been with you in a social setting, he'll call me after.
So even if she wasn't a mistress or a side chick, because she kind of implied that in the call with Abba and Preach, she's like, well, he was just a player and we were sharing him. Even that, I don't think she realizes, even that is extremely damaging to the image that she was putting out there, which was one of a high value woman who is high value enough to even be talking to people about this. And if you're somebody that's sharing a man with another woman and you're on calls with her being this rude and this ratchet, it completely discredits the image that you were putting up online. Sorry. Despite the speculation, no married man or wife has emerged and never will, because there is zero truth behind this claim. I will not allow fabrications like this to invalidate the values I stand for. Okay, well, no one even said they were married, actually. They were saying they were engaged. Sure, maybe they weren't even engaged, but that there was some sort of romantic bond between these two people and between yourself as well is kind of undeniable at this point. What other context would explain that you're on a phone call with another woman who's basically like, like trying to confront you, and you're there saying, what are you gonna do about it? I will sleep with him on your wedding and on your birthday. Like, what other context could possibly explain that? Anyway, it goes on. To my loyal community, I'm so deeply sorry. Now this seems like something she would write. No apostrophes, no higher case here. I'm so deeply sorry for the distress these rumors may have cost you. Rumors. I remain committed to offering value, insight, and support. I will not let those without a purpose derail me from mine. So what do we see here? What do we see with this message? First, we see, as we expected, zero accountability. At no point is she taking any accountability for either the backlash against her because she was cyberbullying people online or just being downright rude. She's not talking at all about the allegations that she's not a real psychologist, but still refuses to provide credentials. And she's also not taking any sort of responsibility for the whole mistress, side chick, whatever that was scandal. So it's all very much, it's all a lie, guys. It's all rumors. Thank you for my kind community. Let's move on. But here's the thing. At this point, she can do that all she wants. She can say that people are being awful to her because they have something against her because she's brown and a woman. She did use that card, actually.
Me personally, I feel like as a Muslim woman who's got brown skin, the moment you come up in their world, just like Jay Shetty, the moment we come up and you're not looking like them, they automatically assume that you're not real. You'll see white content creators, white coaches, the Matthew Husseys or the other kind of coaches in the world. Nobody asks, checks, cares what their background is. They just assume.
She can say that people are making up all these things to move her from her purpose, but the facts remain the facts. Where are her credentials? Where are her licenses? Where are her master's degree? Because multiple people have asked her for this at this point. Psychologists have asked her for this, licensed ones, psychiatrists, YouTubers. Many people are like, hey, if you, absolutely no problem here. We're all willing to apologize. Myself, tomorrow I would film a video saying sorry if she produced real authentic credentials to her name as to why she does this therapy work. But she won't do it, which is bizarre to me. Also, keep in mind that she says, I am fully trained to do the work that I do. Not I am fully trained to be a licensed therapist or psychologist, but I am fully trained to do the work that I do. So if the work that I do is coaching or giving life advice, then I'm fully trained for that. There's a big difference, I think, between saying that and saying I am fully trained as a psychologist. Here are my credentials. I think that is just the absolutely smoothest way that she found to not reveal that she is indeed not licensed, while also saving face and allowing her business to continue. People with master's degrees and PhDs, they love showing that off. They're the first ones that will rub it on your face that they have a master's and a PhD. So I don't know why she just doesn't do it and show everybody off. If I were also getting hate on my master's degree for whatever reason, I would 100% just show it to everyone and be like, here it is, you freaks, like get a life. Why isn't she doing that? I don't get it. And here's the thing, she continues claiming that she has all the credentials, right? She's fully trained to do the work that she does. But if you claim to be trained to do the work that you do, which is according to you psychology and therapy, people are 100% authorized to ask for your credentials. It goes without saying, if you tomorrow book therapy with an actual accredited licensed therapist, you can 100% ask for their credentials at any point. Same way that if you go to the doctor and you're seeing a bit of a weird iffy situation, you can also ask for that doctor's credentials or your surgeon's credentials or their background or this and that. If you're gonna get surgery or plastic surgery, you can ask to see if that surgeon is actually board certified and the like. These are things that everybody who's hiring these services, whether public or private, is entitled to do. So if you're going to promote yourself as a psychologist online and there's all this controversy about you not being a real one and faking one, just provide the credentials. At this point, you kind of owe everyone an explanation. And the more excuses that you give about it and the more you refuse to do it, the more people are going to start thinking that indeed you actually lack those credentials. Anyway, second thing that she expresses no responsibility for is the whole cheating scandal, right? Which we already saw. The audio is real. She does recognize it as something from the past. She said that it's something from 2021. And again, I ask, what context could explain two women talking to each other in that way, in a bit of a confrontational way? And Sadia saying to the other woman, what is she gonna do about it? Because she's gonna sleep with them on her birthday and on her wedding. I just, like, what could possibly explain that? I don't understand. And at no point does she say anything about the hate that she's giving people online, but I guess that's kind of secondary to her main concerns. And she continues having her comments limited in her post so that only those who support her speak, which is very few people, and that says a lot. If she had her comments on, you can imagine the influx of people calling her out that she would have. And when you look at her story, apparently she's doing a speaking event at the moment. Yep, people are still paying to go see this lady. If I were me and I found out about the scandal after I bought the tickets, I would be asking for my money back. To be frank, I'm sure there are plenty of people who are asking. At least I hope so, that people are standing up for themselves. And here she's implying back to business, as if nothing else is going to go on and she's going to leave the situation without any consequences. So yeah, guys, that is the update. Again, I just feel bad for everyone who actually booked a consultation with her and called her and paid her all this money and thinking that she was indeed a licensed health professional when she wasn't, and nothing's gonna happen. Like, really? Is that the kind of world we're living in right now? You can go be a fraud, be a con artist, and there are no consequences? You just back to business. And there are always two sides to a story. And thank you for my followers for not believing in rumors. Listen, I'm not wishing any hate upon this woman. I'm not a hateful person, and yeah, people can make mistakes. I don't know to what extent these are mistakes. I think these are decisions that she made that no one else made her to do, and now she has to pay the consequences. But that being said, if she just came forward and apologized and gave back the money of people who thought she was a therapist and promised not to do this anymore or whatever it is, I would be okay with it. Like, just move on with your life, be a coach, whatever. But the fact that she's not even taking an ounce of responsibility and that nothing's happening, there are no consequences, is terrifying to me personally. But I would like to hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you think her apology is, that's not an apology, her post is enough, or you think there should be more. Remember to give me your likes, to subscribe to help my channel grow, and I will see you very soon.